Now coming to Shah dynasties. So children, after Muhammad Gawan, Bahmani kingdom did not continue its rule strongly. So the sultans who came to power after Muhammad III, they were not efficient, they were incompetent to rule. So after the death of Sultan Kalimullah Shah, Bahmani kingdom was broken into 5 states of Shahi. Adil Shahs of Bijapur, Barid Shahs of Bidar, Qutub Shahs of Golconda, Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar, Imad Shah of Birar. So children, Yusuf Adil Khan was the founder of Adil Shah's dynasty of Bijapur. So he was a good administrator and tolerant towards other religions. So he encouraged other religions. After him, Ibrahim Adil Shah too came to power. So he was also the great king among other sultans. So during his time, kingdom was expanded. They increased, widened the empire, expanded the empire, and became rich. So he had a title called Jagat Guru Badshah because he was tolerant towards other religions. So he sheltered many Hindu philosophers, poets, and musicians in his court. Many Hindus, philosophers, poets, and musicians were there in his court. So he renovated Datta temples in his fort and encouraged puja rituals. So he encouraged Hindu rituals. He worked for the cultural harmony of Hindu and Muslim. So he encouraged good relationship among Hindus and Muslims. He also wrote a book called Kitabe Navras and tried to make music popular among Muslims. So the book begins with worshipping of gods like Ganpati, Saraswati, Bhairav and others. Himself was a great musician. Ibrahim Roza, which is famous for its architecture, was built by him. So children, coming to the contributions of Adil Shahs. So they ruled for 200 years. So Adil Shahs of Bijapur, they contributed a lot in the fields of education, literature, music, fine arts, art and sculpture. So in the field of education, Adil Shahs, they were great lovers of education and they encouraged it. So their education policy was to develop Islamic culture. Maktab or mosques and madrasa, that is college, were the educational centers. So philosophy, religion, law, poetry and other subjects were taught. Educational institutions were under king's patronage. So king encouraged education. He provided funds, money to the educational institutions. Then coming to literature. So the contribution of Adil Shahs to literature is very prominent, important. Literature became rich in their period because kings were poets themselves. Many books were written in Persian, Arabic, Urdu and Kannada languages. Coming to music. So Yusuf Ali Adil Shah and Ibrahim Ali Adil Shah too were great musicians. Ibrahim Adil Shah's work, Kitabe Navras, were the great work in music. So he opened a music school. Women of royal and rich families were interested in music. Then coming to fine arts. So Ibrahim too was a fine artist. His court had many Persian artists, beautiful paintings of flowers, plants, creeper, and other nature scenes were painted on their houses, walls of mosques, and floors. So these paintings help to know aspirations, interests, and traditions of the people. The art and sculpture. In the history of art and sculpture of Karnataka, the buildings of Adil Shahs of Bijapur are important ones. So they built forts, palaces, mosques, and tombs. Their monuments are of Indo-Islamic style. So it is a combination of Indian and Islamic architecture. So the fort of Bijapur is a big one, and it has 96 bastions. That is the dome which were built on fort, and 6 main entrances. Then you have Gagan Mahal. So here you can see the picture of Gagan Mahal. So in 1620, Ibrahim Adil Shah built it. It has 3-storied towers. Then Mehtar Mahal. So it is also a 3-storied palace. Ibrahim Adil Shah too built it. It is famous for its fine and delicate decorations. Then you have Asar Mahal. So rooms have different paintings painted on them. So here you can see all those buildings. Asar Mahal, then Mehtar Mahal, and then you have Gagan Mahal. Then you have mosque, Jama Masjid. Adil Shah built it, so it is famous for its very wide prayer hall. So it is common building without any decoration. Then you have Ibrahim Roza. So here you can see Ibrahim Roza. So Ibrahim Adil Shah too built it in the memory of his wife Taj Begum in Bijapur. It has the tombs of Ibrahim and his relatives. It is the only Rosa in India. It is called as Taj Mahal of South India. So the mosque and the tomb are built on the elevated platform with a garden around them and compounded wall around it. This is called Rosa. Then you have the Gol Gumbaz. So Muhammad decided to build something that is even bigger and greater than Rosa. So he built Gol Gumbaz, a domed tomb in 1656 CE at Bijapur. It has a big dome with a whispering chamber inside. It is a fine example for technology of that time. It is the second largest dome in the world and the first largest dome in India. Then coming to Barit Shahs of Bidar. So when Bahmani state was scattered into many provinces, Barit Shahs ruled Deccans, Bidar and other regions around it. So Qasim Barid was the founder of this dynasty. So because of the incompetence of later kings like Qasim, who ruled Bidar, and their inner conflicts, this dynasty came to an end. Decline means came to an end. So the Ibrahim Adil Shah of Bijapur captured Bidar. So like this, Barid Shah kingdom was merged into Ibrahim's Bijapur state. Then you have Qutub Shahs of Golconda. So Kuli Qutub Shah was the founder of the independent Golconda state. So he ruled the state with good administration in 1543 and he was killed by his own son. So Ibrahim, he had compassion for Hindu religion and there were many Hindu officers in his administration. During his rule, Golconda was made a beautiful city. He changed the capital from Golconda to Hyderabad in 1589. So after him, Abdul Qutub Shah, Abdul Hassan and others came to power. So they were incompetent kings. So later Golconda surrendered to Mughals. Then comes the Nizam Shahs of Ahmednagar. So in 1490, Malik Ahmed, who was the chief of Junar province, he founded his own state of Ahmednagar and established Nizam Shah dynasty. So he took Daulatabad under his control and expanded empire. So after the death of Chand Bibi, Ahmednagar came to an end, declined. Later in 1637 CE, during the period of Shah Jahan, Mughal king Ahmednagar was merged into the Mughal state. Then we have the Imad Shahs of Berar. So after the fall of Bahmani kingdom, 5 Sultan states came into existence. Imad Shah dynasty of Berar is among them. So it was situated between Pen Ganga and Wine Ganga, rivers at Wardha, Tapti to north of Bidar. So in 1490, Fatullah founded this dynasty. Illichipur was his capital. So Fatullah, he has the title called Imadul Mulk. After his death, his son Alauddin Imad Shah came to power. So he was an incompetent king. After him, his son Darya Imad Shah came to power, and even during his rule, Berar dynasty continued its battles in neighboring states. So after the death of Darya Imad Shah, his younger son Burhan Imad took power. So during his rule, power came to hands of usurper called Tufail Khan. So later Berar dynasty fell into the hands of Bijapur sultans. Coming to the chronological period. So reign of Bahmani kingdom. Bahmani kingdom ruled from 1347 to 1527. So Madrasa in Bidar was established in 1461. Reign of Adil Shah was 1489 to 1672. Construction of Ibrahim Roza was 1626. Construction of Gol Gumbaz was 1656.